You're now tuned into Radical Radio with Coach L.
Switch my attitude. I'm so radical. 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 I'm so radical.
I'm muted. My bad, y'all. What's up? Thank y'all for joining us. I was muted the whole time. I gave a whole spiel and everything, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. What's good, my radical people? I am your girl, Coach L. I am the visionary of Radical Life, the brand that encourages you to be radical and live in your God-given favor every day. The motto here is to be unapologetically bold and purposely authentic. Radical Life houses Radical Life Coaching, Radical Eyewear, and of course, Radical Radio. Once again, we want to thank you for tuning in. It is time for the Radical Coaching Moment of the day. Now, I took a little time to make sure that, I put my heart in the right posture for this Radical Coaching Moment this evening. I'm going to be extremely transparent with you guys. This is something that is very near and dear to me because I do work with young adults. So working with young adults ages 17 to 24. It sometimes reminds me of myself. And I'm going to tell you one thing that it does for me is it never allows me to forget where I came from. It never allows me to forget the mess that I used to do. It never allows me to forget that I was once a hot mess as a young person. And now God has brought me full circle and I'm so thankful. But I wanted to start out by talking about the youth. I did my crying about this earlier today, so I hope that I don't drop no tears. But, I have 3 young males, ages 19, 20, ages 20, 22, and about to turn 24, right? I have watched them go through some things. I have watched some things occur in their life that, as a mother, sometimes I'm not proud of the things that they do, but I always have to revert back to myself. And I always have to remember the things that I used to do and not be so hard on my kids and not be a hypocrite, right? Because a lot of times us as parents, we can really be hypocrites. We don't want our kids to do this. We don't want our kids to do this, but we're actually showing them what to do. My brother Ray, he went live and he was saying, you can't expect your kids not to smoke weed and you smoking weed around them. That's true. As bad as we don't want to admit it, that's the truth. It's a lot of things that, for instance, I always say, if you grew up in a household and, your parents cursed 9 times out of 10, that child is also going to use those same words. And we get onto our kids because they cursing, but let's be real about it. They curse because they hear it from us. And when our kids watch us do things, if they see that mama and daddy ain't hurt by doing it, you know what I'm saying? It's easy for them to go ahead and try it, right? So as I was kind of like pondering on this, right, it brought me to Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And I asked God, I said, Lord, when you say when he is old, like what you talking about when they 60, 70? Don't nobody want to wait till they 60, 70. Like what you mean when they get old? The Holy Spirit was revealing to me that, what it means is when you give your life to Christ, when you surrender, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that thing can come full circle, right? There's a time where we sit and, when we're young, we feel like we're invincible. We feel like can't nothing happen to us. Like we can do whatever we want to do and there's not going to be any consequences. But once you get to that place in life where you have to grow up and you have to become accountable and you have to become responsible, that thing comes full circle. So the things that you learned and the foundations that your parents set for you, those things then start to come back. And I'm grateful for that. Even in that scripture alone, again, think about myself. Ladina had a smart mouth, bad attitude, spoiled brat, fighting in school, getting kicked out of Zion, had to go to Waukegan, wouldn't listen to nobody, thought that I was just invincible. But now I have been able to see that, all of that I went through, that didn't take away the blessing that God had for me. It didn't change the plan that he had for me. All along, he had a plan for me, but I was doing things on my own. I was making choices that weren't the best choices, but he still had a plan for me. And that was well before I was entered into my mother's womb. So that plan that he had for me, it still came to fruition. So I say all that to say, when you see these kids out here busting guns, when you see these kids out here smoking weed, when you see these kids out here being disrespectful, understand that it comes a time where in this community, we got to learn how to love on these kids. We got to learn how to, despite what we see them doing in the natural in this very moment, we still have to love on them. The word says that we are supposed to love our brother and our sister. And we have to also understand that even though they may be acting a fool right now, they may be a pastor, they may be an apostle, they may be an usher, they may be, a minister of music. They might be wilding out, rapping right now, talking about popping pills, talking about shooting guns, talking about, being promiscuous, all that. That's what they could be rapping about right now. But you never know, once God get a hold to them, that they can be a minister of music in the middle of the church. Real talk. So I think it's time for us to really start understanding that it is time for us to love on these kids. And the reason I know this is because I work with kids 17 to 24. I have my own 3 and I have to love on them. A lot of the things that I used to do, like I used to be very, very, very hard on my kids. Like they were boys. So I would, go in, cussing them out, sit down, stop being stupid, just speaking ill. But I have to learn that it's a time and a place where we have to learn how to speak life into them, no matter what they're doing. And this is the time, y'all, because right now God is raising up people that you don't even think that he is raising up. Ministry has changed. Okay, it is changed, whether you believe it or not. I'm going to take you to this scripture here. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away because all things are become new. It is a new day, y'all. The first day of Black History Month. I'm telling you, I'm here to declare and decree it is a new day. We have to learn how to deal with these kids in a different way. If you still trying to be old school, taking off your belt, talking about you gonna go upside somebody's backside, they might bust back. You cannot do the same things that you used to do. It is a time, it's a time to change. It's a time to do things different. We have to walk in love. We have to really learn how to pour into these kids, learn how to talk to these kids. And I'm gonna tell you, working with the youth, sometimes it's like, Lord, help me, But I have come up with this notion. I grew up saying, I only respect people that respect me. I quickly had to throw that in the garbage because I work with young people. So they'll cuss me out when they in their feelings, they go off, okay? But I quickly tell them, just because you disrespect me don't mean I'm gonna disrespect you back. I still follow up with love. Now they know, you know what I'm saying? Miss Ladina, she ain't going for that. No, I'm not going for it. But I'm also not going to sit and go toe to toe with you either, because that's what you want me to do. That's what you're used to. That's how you interact. That's the easiest way for you to interact, is to jump bad. So I'm not going to do exactly what you're looking for me to do. So it is a time to start doing things different. So that is the radical coaching moment of the day. If y'all don't know nothing, y'all better know it's time to look at these kids different. It's time to pour into them in a different way. That's how we reach them. Because I'm going to tell you this. Just like we have taken the torch from other leaders in the community, those are the ones that have to take the torch from us. And if we don't love on them, if we cast them away and throw them out, we're not going to have leaders. If we cast them out, we ain't going to have no kids in the church. That's not going to work at all, period. So it is a time to do something different. It is a time to move in love. And that is the radical coaching moment of the day. So I thank y'all for rocking with me. Now, listen, we had to do this one time for the one time again, okay? Because the mics was really giving us a hard time. So we figured this thing out. We did a whole, little whoopsie. We didn't figure it out. Drew is in the building. Big Drew is in the building. I'm going to say this is amazing because this is the first day of Black History and we got a legend in the building, y'all. We got a legend in the building. Your mic.
Damn. Yo.
Unmute your mic.
We pulling up for you, so we had feedback.
Oh.
Yeah, they got to hear from you. So cool. What's up, everybody?
Okay.
What's up, everybody? I'm back. I'm happy to be back. I'm glad they called me back.
Yes.
God is so good. I was like, they gonna call me back because we was actually, we talked. Man, it was so good last time we were together. And you just preached the whole sermon. So listen, I want y'all to send a cash app, send an offering, send a donation. But she just gave y'all some free game. You know what I'm saying? So you need to bless her for that. You know what I'm saying? Bless her little stuff. We asked for the offering for real, but if you want to throw a little couple dollars.
Absolutely. So a seed in Radical Radio, that would be great.
Yes.
Nevertheless, listen, we had a powerful interview last time Big Drew was here. And with the mics messing up, I'm like, look, I left it up for a couple days and I was like, Lord, come on now, tell me what we're going to do. Is it going to, just straighten out? I was trying to pour my little oil out and see what was going to happen, but ain't nothing really shake like that. So I still got to have my brother back because he is such an inspiration. He had a lot of good stuff to say, and we're going to go ahead. We're going to get it in. You ready to get it in, Bo? All right. So last time you were here, you had did the I Have a Dream breakfast with us, the Dreamers Awards. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man, that was amazing. Man. Shout out to the township. I'm trying to think about Superintendent Jones, Mark Jones,
yes.
Her son, and everybody that was involved. It was a great opportunity for me. It's a time where people come together and we really reflect back to what Dr. King meant to us, right? Yes. And what he's done in society and advancements that we've had because of his dream, because of his passion, because of his fearlessness, right? And that he lost his life for us. Yes. So we could have some civil liberties that we would not have gotten if he didn't step up, right? Right. So also to empower other young Black men and women to step up, to know that, you may have to give up something so somebody else can get something, right? Yeah. But they called me and I ain't gonna lie, I would never imagine myself being on this stage from where I came from. You know what I'm saying? These aren't the usual people I rub elbows with, or I thought I would ever rub elbows with. You know? So it was a blessing. I got to give a speech. And I just really talked about that. I talked about me being honored for being there because where I came from, you would never even see me there. Wow. Where I came from, we didn't believe I'd be this age. I just had my birthday Thursday. I didn't never think I would live to be 39 and a half. Some people say 40, but 39 and a half. Bless the Lord. Like 40 will come when COVID is gone. Yes. But so I got to talk about that. And I got to talk about the labels, and I used branding. To talk about it. So I told them, we get branded. I was branded as a failure, as a gangbanger, as a drug dealer. This was my brand. And if anybody knows what a brand is, really when you break it down to a personal level, a brand is your character. Yes. It's what people expect when they see you. So when you think about Pepsi and Jordan, you know what you're going to get when you get Pepsi. You know what you're going to get when you get Jordan, okay? Right. So when somebody brands you as something, when you walk in the door, they're already looking at you and saying, this is what you are. This is your identity. Right? And the enemy is out here trying to give our kids all these false identities, society, false identities, television, radio, false identities, right? So I said, you know what? No, we're not gonna live up to these identities, because in the 90s we had all of these movies that was gang banging, you know what I'm saying, had us out here in the streets. The music, it was gangster rap, had really just blown up in the 90s, and we started living up to those labels, right, to those brands. But I said, no, God is rebranding his people.
Yes, he is.
It's a new, what you say? He's doing something new.
Yes,
he is rebranding his people. We are no longer going to answer to those things, right? Because we all been told it's not what you call, it's what you answer to. So I'm not going to answer to the names that they call me. I'm not going to answer to the brands that they placed on me anymore. I'm going to answer to what God has called me to be. That's my true identity. And guess what? We need some Latinos. We need some Coach L's. We need some Big Drews. We need some Maxi G's out here. We need all of these people that are inspiring the youth to continue to tell them to hear from God first and to begin to tell them, I'm planting this seed in you because this is what you're supposed to do. You can't do what you would at Dwayne Springs. We got to start a school because our little black boys ain't going to fall because they just got them sitting at the crib all day learning on the internet. We can't do that no more. You understand? So that's what it's about. God is rebranding his people. We're going to do some new things, and we're going to shake the earth.
Y'all see that fire coming up out of here. Real talk. Like that right there, that just set the tone for real, because this brother right here, like, he is a comedian. You know what I'm saying? He is a host. He is a minister of music. Is it?
Like that, I worship.
He's a worship leader. He is in these trenches, y'all. When I tell y'all he be in these trenches, he was just shoveling snow. Your mentorship, he was just shoveling snow with the little young fellas. He's mentoring young boys. Like, real talk. Like, we need more. And it's not enough. I don't care. Like, I won't be happy until it's a community center on every single corner. Okay? Because one thing that I know, and Drew, you could probably talk to this too. What were some of the things that you did do when you were younger to keep you out of trouble? Like, what were the things that were out there to keep you out of trouble?
Man, you know what? We went to hoop. There were a lot of gyms. I lived on the north side of Waukegan, so right around the corner from our state, we had the YMCA.
Yes.
You know, if I went to the south side, you had the south side Y. You know what I'm saying? This is where we congregated. We like to play basketball. You had the Chiefs. So we played football. Shout out to Reggie Johnson. Reggie Johnson seen me outside playing basketball. He said, "You a big boy." He was like, "Hey, what if I put you on this football team? Let's see." I ended up playing football. Kept me out of a lot of trouble. Waukegan, when I got older, when I was going to high school, we had the weight room. So we went after school. We'd lift weights for a few hours. You know, just things that we could do to really keep us out of trouble.
And that's what we need more of. I just feel like, you know, most of them, they got power. You know, they trying to get the kids and do things for the kids. They have very innovative ways to get the kids out. They just had something for the young ladies to come out and hoop in the blizzard. The young ladies came out, you know, so shout out to Boylo's Crazy, you know, for what he is doing in the community. You know, Dwayne Springs, as you said, you know, Brother Blanks, he working with the kids, you know, it's a lot of people out here in the trenches working with the youth, and I appreciate it. I really do, because we need more. So you had spoke on, you know, how you were labeled. You know, labeled as a younger, you know, labeled. One of the biggest things that I've noticed, and like you said, we kind of like took a hold to that. You know, my grandfather, he always said, you know, don't call the kids bad, because if you call the kids bad, that's what you're gonna get. They're gonna be bad. So now it's like, every time I'm around some kids, or, you know, my little cousins or whatever, I try my hardest not to say you bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. Talk about how, you know, teachers and things like that were labeling you.
Listen, I had a teacher tell me straight up. She was friends with another teacher that I had in the past, and she told me, we were talking about you, and she said, "You're not gonna make it."
Wow.
And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, dude, I'm like 16, 17 years old. Why would you tell me something like that and not speak life? And I don't think people really realize that words have power.
Absolutely.
Listen, when you begin to speak that thing, it can materialize, it can happen. Words have power. The Bible says that it has the power of life and death. And whatever you begin to speak, it's like it's setting a plate before you. You got to eat that thing. You got to deal with whatever you create with your mouth. Right? So when we're speaking to these kids, and it's funny because I had one, Phil Mayoni, I'll never forget him. You know, he said, Gadsden, when you get on the big screen, I just want free tickets. Because he saw something in me. He said, you bad in the mud. I'm going to kick you out my class every other day. But you have talent. You have something. You know, so that was dope. I'll never forget that. And when I could connect back with him, I got some shows and all types of stuff for him to come to for free. He come anything I do for free. For the rest of my life. He spoke life into me. That's right. And that's a total opposite. Stop calling these kids bad. Stop telling them, stop rejecting them. Because a lot of these kids are being rejected at home. So when they come to the school, they need you to receive them. They need you to speak life into them. That's their escape. And if you pushing them away, guess where they're going? They're going to the block. That's right. Because the big homie already know I can make some money with you. The big homie know I can send you off to go do what I'm scared to do. You get what I'm saying? So they gonna try and forget the big homie, the enemy wants these children. So if we put him in situations to where he can come and just whisper in their ear and take them away from what God has them identified as, guess what? Now he's done his job. And now we got to work even harder to get them back. If we get them back, because there's a lot of our shorties that's leaving this earth in the hands of the enemy. Absolutely. We're not going to play.
Ooh. And that's real. Like you said, speaking over them, you know, what we don't realize is the rejection. That's a spirit, you know. So the word says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, the spirit. We are wrestling against the spirits right now. So when you see these young kids and you see them wilding out and you see, you know, that they feeling away or that they going off and things like that, that's the time for you to flip that thing. So what do you do when you have hate? You display love. It's a counteractive situation. So you have to love on these kids. Dawn Johnson, thank you for joining us. Draz, thank you for joining us. Brooke, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. So, bro, let's talk about Yoked. You are mentoring out here. What is Yoked? What are the age groups that you guys mentor?
Okay, so age group 8 to 12. Okay. Listen, you got a 7-year-old, holla at me. You got a 13-year-old, holla at me. We just want to get these boys and we want to get them together. But our core group is 8 to 12 years old. Okay. What is Yoked? The Bible talks about being heavy burden, right? Having all these things weighing you down, and God saying, bring those burdens to me. And not only bring those burdens, but take on my yoke, because my yoke is easy. And if you learn farm terminology, you find out that what they did with the yoke was they took a very strong ox, right? And they would yoke him by the neck, side by side, with a small ox, a baby ox that really didn't know the way. This way, the small ox would learn the footing and the way to go. So that's the same thing we do with our little boys. We are yoking little boys up with men that have been through it, men that are doing it, men that are entrepreneurs, men that have made it through the storm, right? They're in a place of success, as we would say, right? We're yoking them up because guess what? I'm going to show you the way. I found my purpose. I'm going to show you the way to yours. I found my identity. I'm going to show you the way to yours, right? Because if we don't do that, how they going to find it? Because when we just run around, I ran around aimlessly, y'all. Aimlessly. I was doing my own doggone thing, and I was everywhere. But if I would have had somebody that said, come here, little big dude. Come here, you funny, dude. Come here, let me help you cultivate that. You know what? Because your identity ain't to be a class clown. Your identity really is to make people laugh and to help heal them. The guilt that God gave you. Let me show you how to cultivate that. So that's what we're doing. We're yoking up with these boys 8 to 12 because we want them young before the enemy really trying to come in and grab them, because they not 8 years old. When we were 8 years old, was really 8 years old. 8 years old now is like 14. Let's keep it real. These kids grown. They on social media. They on the internet. They learning everything. They know more than some of us in some subjects. That's right. We got to be real, and we got to catch them when they're young and really cultivate them and lead them to the purpose that God has for them, not society, not the world, not what your name, not even what we have for them. What God has for them. That part right there. I love that. Now, since you said my magical word, you said the word purpose. Since you threw it out there, I say this all the time. I say
We grew up where it says money makes the world go round.
Yeah.
I had to change that real quick because I understand it ain't money that makes the world go round. It's purpose that makes the world go round. So when did you identify your purpose? When did you know that okay, this right here is why dude put me on this earth?
You know what's crazy? Dude? I fight with it, but I discover more of my purpose every day.
Absolutely.
It's a constant walk for me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like God has gifted me in so many different areas,
right?
That I know that my core purpose is to serve. That's my core purpose. This is to serve. So anywhere that I can serve, that I can help somebody. If you over here, you need to get over there. Let me help you.
That's right.
If these kids need to get from point A to point B, let me help you. Yeah. How can I serve you? And so he uses my gifts in order to make me a better servant. Yes. So that's what I do. So when did I realize it? I can't even tell you. Because I just always, little bits and pieces of me have always just been doing it, right? Yeah. Or even when I was a knucklehead, I was still helpful. Yeah. I was still around. These pieces that God had already put in me were still working. Yeah. I was just doing other stuff around it.
That's right. That's right.
But when it finally locked in, it was probably about 11 years ago when I got saved. Come on. When I gave my life to Christ. Yes. And that's a whole other thing. I had my brother, I know we talked last time about my brother, Sean the Barber. Shout out. Yeah. Sean the Barber. Sean would call me every Sunday. I would leave the phone on vibrate. I would cut the phone off. I would not answer the phone. And then the day he decided not to call me no more, y'all, and this was months and months and months of him calling me. The day he decided not to call me, I got up and went to church. Yeah. Now, funny, everybody saw the post. I just got my first house, right? I call it my first rental property. Right. I'm gonna be there for a few years. Yes. We're gonna rent it out and get something big, right? So look. The reason I started going to this church, shout out to my pastor, Apostle Betty Butler, Sunshades Ministry, all my church family. Yes. Listen, I called it the HUD church because everybody in this church was getting houses. Yeah. Sean be like, so-and-so got a house. You remember so-and-so from the church? I'll be like, yeah, they just bought a house. They got a house. They got a car. Everybody getting up. It's like Oprah Winfrey was the pastor of this church. Everybody just getting stuff, right? I'm like, I'm finna go to this church, y'all. It's the HUD church. Right. And I promise y'all, I stayed and I've learned things and I've grown. I've learned things about myself through Christ, man, and that I would have never learned just trying to live the life that I was trying to live. That's right. God saved my life, not just what Christ did on the cross, but when I went to church, when I got with a body of believers, people that can hold me accountable, people that cared for me and would teach me and tell me, no, you wrong, bro. You do all the correction that you get. You know what I'm saying? As it's leading you in direction of your purpose. So I would say if there was any time that I really started to realize my purpose is when I came into alignment with Christ and what he had for me. Yes.
Listen, I'm going to tell y'all this. A lot of people will throw scripture at you. A lot of people will, turn their nose up at you if you look a certain way. And, all those things that happen, to people. You have people that are church hurt, that have been hurt by people in the church. Let me tell y'all, the best thing that you can do is know him for yourself. The best thing that you can do is experience him for yourself, because the moment that you experience him for yourself, all that other like petty stuff that goes on, it won't even matter. And it's true. Once you identify your purpose, and let me be clear to those that may not know, your purpose is the intent, the reason that God placed you on this earth. Whatever it is, that plan that he had, Jeremiah 29:11 said he had a plan for you. A plan for you to prosper and not to fail, right? So whatever that plan is, that is going to be aligned with your purpose. As soon as you can identify your purpose, life will change, and it will change in a way that you will never, ever be able to understand. How did that just happen like that? Real talk. It's real, right? It's real. So you have hosted, you're a comedian, you're a worship leader. How does one still get to have fun, love God, and be Drew?
You know what? And good question. You have to be you.
Yes.
Right? But with boundaries. So there was a me that didn't have no boundaries.
That's right.
Down for whatever, do whatever, say whatever, participate in whatever, right? But now there's a me that still have a good time, but I got some boundaries
Yes,
now,
that's
right?
good. That's good.
But there's freedom in those boundaries.
That's
So I
good.
feel like, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, I felt the same way. When you get saved, you can't have no fun no more. Which is, we just go to church every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We in church, right?
Yeah.
But that's not it. Like, it's like we don't really understand God.
Yeah.
In that we see God as such a restrictive person that just wants to control our lives and not really understand, going back to the subject today, that he's a loving God.
Yes, he is.
He's a loving father. But a lot of us, one, maybe we haven't had fathers.
Yeah.
Two, maybe we had fathers that was old school and they didn't know how to love us.
Yeah.
So when we hear father, when we hear God as father, we begin to say, oh, you just like my earthly father was.
Yes.
But he's not.
Yes.
He loves you, and the boundaries that he does give you are to protect you.
Ooh, yes.
It's to
That's
keep
right.
you from harm.
Yeah.
It's because he said, I do have a hope and a future for you, and you can have some fun in that hope and that future. But it's sometimes I'm going to pull you away from some things. You can't go over there because over there is danger. So we got to have, going back to Coach L, we got to have that relationship so that we hear him. My sheep know my voice. And the voice of a stranger, they will not follow. See, so we got to know his voice. So when the stranger is pulling us over there, and he be like, no, I can't go over there. I can't do that. So we can still have fun, y'all. We can play spades. We can play marbles. Bro, you couldn't do nothing back in the day, okay? Right. You know, so don't restrict yourself. But I will tell you this, read the word of God. Get an understanding for yourself. Because what I do may not be for you. You get what I'm saying? Because you may see me doing something and be like, oh, you can do that? That don't mean just because you seen me do it, I can do it, because you don't know what correction I'm going to get down the road. That's right. Somebody might be like, you can't do this, and you don't see me do it ever again. You get what I'm saying? So don't base it on me. You base it on the word. Yeah. That's what you compare everything to the word of God. He'll lead you where you need to go.
That's good. Listen, y'all. Hey, Carson. Hey, Rita. Thank you for joining us. Listen. Instagram, I know y'all hear all this good preaching over here. This good preaching coming over here on Radical Radio. I know y'all hear this. But look, this just kind of like, I believe that this is a plan of God, because look, our first interview was on fire. But this right here, this just, I don't know, this kind of lit a fire under me. I heard you say something, basically just like the discernment that, you know, we hear from God. I want to just take a moment to tell people, you know, especially if there's, you know, any young people that hear this. My son says it all the time. He's 20, he just turned 22, right? And he says, you know, it was just something in the pit of my stomach. It just was a rumble, like my stomach wasn't feeling right. And I had to explain to him at one time, like, that is called discernment. That, you know, even though, you know, you may not know that you got it, but you got it. It is embedded on the inside of you. That's what keeps you out of trouble. So when you feel that, understand that is the Holy Spirit guiding you and telling you, hey, no, go the other way. Warning always comes before destruction. So we got to pay attention. The Spirit dwells in us. Even when we feel like, you know, we can do what we want to do, even when we, you know, don't have them boundaries, God is still covering us, right? So we still have to understand. That goes back to these young kids. I need y'all to understand, listen, they got it on the inside of them. We just have to learn how to help them cultivate it. And sometimes it's just a conversation. It's just a real simple conversation. There don't got to be no heavy King James Version type of conversation. But it could just be a regular conversation, because, you know, we miss it sometimes. We lose them. We lose them when we go too deep. You just got to kind of be transparent and just give it to them in the raw. Keep it a buck with them, and they'll get it. So with that being said, we're gonna get off that soapbox. What are your thoughts of unity in the community? Drew is in the community heavy. He is a part of the Lake County Solidarity Team. They put on the largest march this past summer. So tell us a little bit about, you know, what are your thoughts about unity in the community, and tell us a little bit about the Lake County Solidarity Team.
Man, okay. So shout out Kima J.
Yes.
Shout out to Misha Reed.
Hey y'all.
Joseph. Shout out to the team. Man, Unity is important.
Yeah.
Like, put it this way. I can knock something down myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long will it take me to do it by myself? If I got a team to come with me, though, we could get it done really quick.
That's right.
So think about it. So some of you may have seen the video, some of you may not have. Last week when we had the storm, we took some of the boys out, right?
Yes.
And we shoveled. You know, we had a snow blower, but we shoveled.
Mm-hmm.
But the areas that we shoveled, imagine one person shoveling that yard. We did about 10 yards in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We got work done together. One person cannot do that.
Right.
Right. So when we unify, when we come in numbers, right, same mindset, same goals, we get things done faster.
Yeah.
When we unify, people see the numbers and it make them want to move.
Yes.
And in the Black community, we gotta have those numbers because we're going into an election right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We got some mayors, North Chicago, the mayor of Waukegan. People are running.
Yeah.
Listen, Black people, we have to start to vote. We got to come together, unify, and say, listen, because we have to have a voice. Yeah. Otherwise, when we don't do those things, what happens? We get railroaded. We don't get nothing for us. Mm-hmm. Nobody thinking about us. Yeah. But because you have to realize, and this is some things that I was just listening and studying on, when your voice, you might be very loud. I'm a very loud person, mm-hmm. right? But I could be very loud and have no effect.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are just very loud and we don't have no effect.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get an effect? We got to come together. We got to show people that we can strike a blow together.
That's
so
right.
There's enough of us that come out and vote. Then politicians have to listen to what we have to say.
Yeah.
But if you ain't coming out to vote, why do you think they gonna care about what your opinion is? We don't care about you because you don't care about us, but you don't vote. So your voice really don't matter. So if you really want to know, a lot of people say your vote don't matter. If you really want to know when your vote don't matter, it doesn't matter when you don't vote.
That's it.
That's when your voice don't matter.
Yeah.
Get out here and vote. Get educated. Shout out to the Just Do It _Vote Coalition, because that's what we're out here doing. We're educating people. Shout out to the Lake County Solidarity Team. Yes. We're educating people and bringing people together so that we can vote, we can march, we can fight for our rights and be heard.
That's it right there. And it's not, look, we didn't voted the president in, okay? It's still in your county, in your state. There are still things that need to be done. Right now in Lake County, we still need things to be done. There's a lot that needs to be done. So we got to still get out and vote. It ain't over with. It ain't never going to be over. I'm going to tell you, because listen, we've been going through this for years on top of years on top of years. It's going to take for us to come together and unify to get from up under what we have been going through for years and years and years. And that might be with your legacy. So that's why it's very important for us to pour into our kids, to teach them that it is important to vote. I mean, I was like, look, I'm taking you to vote. Come on, you going with me. I don't even want to vote. Oh, but you don't vote. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that important. And I need to be the example for my kids so that they know the importance of voting, because that's what my grandparents did for me.
Have a conversation.
Yeah.
Sit with your family at the table and talk about politics. Talk about those things. If you could vote, who would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why would you vote for them? Because a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I used to be an opponent of voting. And I would tell people, well, they fought for your right to vote. They did fight for my right, but the key word in that is right. Yeah. They fought for me to have a right to either vote or not to vote. Yeah. I still believe that. But I believe that I need to vote in the places I need to vote. If you don't want to vote on a national level, that's your business. That's a whole nother conversation, right? You can have all the conspiracy conversations. But if you're not voting on a local level, then you're hurting your own community.
Absolutely.
Because that's what we at. You got to vote for the mayor. You got to vote for the alderman. You got to vote for the congressman, the state representative. These are the people that represent us, y'all. And if they don't know that we have a voice, they're not going to worry about what we say we want after they get elected.
That's right.
Not. So,
and on top of that too, it's important for us to know who our aldermen are. You know, you live in a district, you don't know who your alderman is, you don't know who to go to if you have a problem where you live. Where I live, I want to know that the alderman that is in charge of my area is handling business. Because if you ain't handling business, you gotta go. Because this is where I lay my head at every single day. So you have to just be careful of understanding who you need to know. You need to know the people that are assigned to your county and assigned to your jurisdiction. You need to know those people as well, so you can get on the phone and make calls when calls are necessary.
And you can talk to them.
Yep.
They are your servants.
Yeah.
They are in their position to serve us.
That's right.
We can talk to them, y'all. We can call these people and have conversations with them. Do you know that? Yeah. We don't know that sometimes. Yeah. See, so this is why I love the Just Do It _Folk Coalition, because they're educating people, educating you so you can learn that there are things that you probably did not know about the political system that can happen. Yes. Let's utilize it for our good.
Utilize it. If you guys have any questions for Big Drew, please make sure you put them in the comments. We'll read them off as you put them down. Now, Drew, you a daddy. You got some girls out here now. You got some girls. Having a daughter, or having daughters rather, with plural. Okay, y'all heard them, plural. What are some things that you feel like fathers should instill in their daughters?
Affirmation. You gotta love them girls.
Yes.
Even if they act like they don't get it, you gotta love them, and love comes in different forms.
Yes.
Right. Love sometimes is discipline. Discipline is love. You know, that's the God love. When I discipline you, when I correct you, when I take that phone away because you're doing some stuff you ain't got no business doing.
Yes.
Right. And I got to teach you some things. What they say? You did that? I know I did that by accident. And listen, that's the only comment I saw too. But you have to love your children. You have to, girls, you have to affirm these girls. Listen, you don't want your girl on these OnlyFans and stuff like that because they ain't getting no affirmation. Now listen, grown folks, don't get mad at me. Do what you want to do. That ain't for my kids, though. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that ain't for my nieces. That ain't for none of the women that I know. Ain't for none of them. I'm gonna get on you. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm old school. Keep your body to yourself, sister. Right. You special. What you got is special. A man needs to chase you to get the treasure that you have. Because if you give it up to him, it's not a treasure. It's not worth chasing. If it come to me, I ain't had to move and it's right here. Thank you. That's right. So I got to teach my girls that I love you. And I got to try to love them more than any man is ever going to be able to love them. Of course, their husband will love them more, you know, not being unrealistic, but just being real. I have to show them that love so that when they go out in the streets, my daughter's 17 years old, and I'm like, girl, Lord, help me, because my baby is 17. She's going to have her own mindset. So I tell her all the time, this is our last year where I really will have this control over you. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the right at 18 to go do what you want to do. Now, you ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna let you. Right. You can leave and do what you want to do. That's up to you as an adult, right? But so let me teach you now. Yeah. Let me make sure you get these things. Let me make sure you know I love you. Let me talk to you about boys. And y'all, we gotta have this conversation about dating. This dating conversation. Because I think we've been doing it all wrong. And this is my personal thing, right? Come on with it, bro. I think we've been doing it wrong because we set our children up, and like, especially our girls, we let our boys date. Now we let our boys go date somebody else's daughter at 14, 15, 16, but we won't let our girl, no boy can come and date our girl. Right. And I've been at fault. But I feel like you have to do it right. Teach your daughter that if some boy want to date you, you need to come holler at me. Right. That's first. And then I'm not going to restrict you from dating, but I'm going to put some boundaries around your dating. Because this is what you need. Let's go on a double date. Me, mama, and the boy. Some days I got to date him. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about that little funny stuff. Okay? Right. Sometimes I got to date him because I need to instill some things in him that I want you to have. Oh, that's good. So see, we got to change it to where we blocking these boys. No, open the door. Come in. Let me talk to you. Let me spend time with you, young man. Let me mentor you, young man. Because soon you should be coming to ask for my daughter. And this is mine, brother. So if you want what's mine, I'm going to have to be able to approve of that. And ladies, you need to listen to your father. When he says he does not approve, God put something on the inside of us daddies to know when this dude is a knucklehead or if he's worth moving in the future with. Listen to your daddies. We love y'all. We want the best for y'all. You are beautiful. You deserve the world. And if you listen to it, and fathers, take care of your daughters. Come on. I help you.
That's good right there, because I've always said, like, you know, my boys, they used to always be like, wow, you just, oh God, you don't like nobody. Oh my God, you know. And I used to be like, no, I'm telling you, it'd be something about, you know, something that's telling me that this is not a good friend for you to be around. And it's that discernment again. We have to let people know. Like, I just feel like what you just said is true. Like, if your father say he don't approve, it's something there. And we as women and young ladies, we have a tendency to ignore the red flags. Mm-hmm. We have a tendency to ignore things that stick out to us. Even when we know that it stick out to us, we try to sweep it under the rug. Mm-hmm. When you have a father in your life and you have somebody that's going to tell you, no, that ain't what that's supposed to be. It's real for you to want to pour into any young man that comes by, because a lot of men ain't going to try to do that. That's a difference. And like he said, like, he want to show them, like, hey, you going to see how I do, and I'm going to see how you do. Because if I see you doing anything you ain't got no business doing, I'm going to be able to check you on the spot and tell you, hey, young man, this ain't what we do. So that's real. I like that. I like that a lot. When we talk about dating, well, let's go on and talk about, like, Lori Harvey. Let's talk about this a little bit here. Lori Harvey has been dating. Okay. Yeah. So in my opinion, I feel like women are able to date. We talk about older, responsible people, right? So I'm thinking in my mind, women should date. It shouldn't just be men are allowed to date. But my problem, and this is just my opinion, so don't hold nothing against me, y'all. My problem is, now, if you smashing every dude that you dating, sister girl, it's an issue. That's an issue, because you cannot be giving the cookie up to everybody. That just don't work like that. So it was a big old, situation. Everybody going crazy on social media about Lori Harvey. What do you think about that?
I agree with you totally. I believe you're supposed to date. That's what dating is. Yeah. Dating is getting to know people.
Right.
Listen, marriage, but let me back up. Society has changed relationship.
Facts.
Right. So we don't desire marriage like we used to. Mm-hmm. We just okay. Chicks is okay being side chicks. Brothers that's okay crazy. Being side brothers. you know what I'm saying? Like that. No, what you mean? I don't want no second fiddle. Right. I got to be number one. That women used to in the 90s, boy, we used to have to work hard for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Man, like, they don't have to work hard no more. You can have a wife, and they like, okay, as long as you real with me, give me my time, no. So going back to Lori, date, ladies, date. That's fine. But don't give yourself to every man. See, what y'all don't understand, because we've moved so far from the spiritual side of things, and we're so deep into the carnal side of things, mm-hmm. right? The sensual type side and the temporal side of things, that you guys, you haven't had the teaching that lets you know that when you give yourself to a man, that there's something called a soul tie. That ties your soul together, right? That causes you to become a Jasmine Sullivan and I bust the windows out your car. Yes, that causes you to be sitting outside of this girl house that he done went to go see, so you can see what's really happening. Got you acting crazy, got your hormones all mixed up because you're twisted in some things. And actually, what you don't understand is when you begin to connect that way, that spiritually you are bonded. So the man that's probably for you, he can't even touch you, because spiritually, in the legality of the spirit, you're taken.
Yes. You're
taken.
Yes.
Because you're bonded to somebody else.
And let me add something to that. Y'all have to understand, when he talk about soul ties, it's a real thing. It ain't no play. No. When you are connected with one person, you have to also remember you are also connected to everybody that they were once connected to. So it's a double whammy for the whammy, for real. It's not a game. And that is true. That's why you end up like you kind of deranged and going crazy, and you're doing all this stuff that you normally wouldn't do, because you're connected by the soul. It's real out here.
Taking abuse, you ain't supposed to take it. You just stay in there.
Yeah.
No, if you was in your right mind, you would have went nowhere. I tell my friends just like this: you keep that sexual part out, you can stay friends.
Yeah.
It can not work out and y'all can still be cool. Mm-hmm. How many relationships do you bring the sexual part in that after it's over, y'all still have anything other than every once in a while getting a late night phone call and dipping off? Let's just be real.
Yeah.
You got to look at it, because the spiritual things come out. They make sense in the natural if you really look at them.
Yeah.
And you see, but we don't be doing the work. We don't want to take the time to look at things and discipline ourselves. We need discipline. So,
Yeah.
Lori and ladies, if y'all want to date these brothers, fellas, if y'all want to go date, because that's how you're going to find out who your mate is, who
That's
the person is you're the most compatible with.
Yeah.
That you find out, oh, no, I thought I loved y'all, but I love her.
Right.
You find out, I talk to all of these dudes, but don't nobody make me feel good like him.
Absolutely.
Don't nobody treat me like him.
Yeah.
That's the one you take the mama and daddy.
Absolutely.
And you can take them to mama and daddy earlier than y'all be doing. You got to wait a long time. Hurry up, because y'all be getting these soul ties, and then we can't tell y'all nothing.
Yes.
And then you stay stuck, and then we got to pull you out of situations, right? Don't take them to mama and daddy early. I'm telling y'all, we got changed. We've been doing things wrong for a long time.
Well, that's real, because I believe, and let me say this too. Like, a lot of people feel like, okay, because you're a Christian and you're a believer, that you can't have these conversations. Listen, God created all of this. He created all of this. You know, that's how you are supposed to create. You know, you have intimate, you do the thing. So I'm just saying, like, he created all of this. So it's something that needs to be conversated about and talked about, so that we can all be on the same page. Because I really feel like everything is reversed. Drew said it first. Men are supposed to chase you. They're not just supposed to be able to just say, yeah, I want you, and get the pick of the litter. It's not that. Like, you got to leave something for him to work for. If you don't leave nothing for him to work for, like, he gonna get what he get and he gonna be gone.
I mean, because who's just working to take care of somebody for the rest of their life?
Right. Come on.
It got to be something else.
Yeah, it got to be more to it. So I like that. And I think these are conversations that can be had.
Definitely.
And they need to be had, because like you said, I mean, we're doing this all wrong right now. In so many ways. I think it could be, something that looks a lot different. Since it's Black History Month, let's talk about a little bit about Black history. What I wanted to ask you this, like, what is one of the people, in Black history that you always love to read about, talk about, all of that good stuff when this month comes around? Books that you read, anything like that?
One easy one, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Absolutely.
You might think that that's just an easy answer, and it is, but it's a truthful answer. Why? For me, being a man of God, to see a man of God be on the national stage that Martin Luther King was on, Dr. Martin Luther King was on, that was amazing to me.
Yeah, it was.
To see the whole world hear a man with God's morals lead from God and lead the world. And I'm ready to see that again.
That's right.
This is what I'm talking about. So that excites me.
Yeah.
And the inspiration and the downloads that God was giving this man that we are still living off of today.
Yeah.
That's cold, man.
Yeah.
That's cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Another one was Nat Turner. And Nat Turner was a G.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't going, fam. And I like that. He was like, no, I ain't going. Y'all ain't going to keep doing this wrong. No, we're going to fight back.
Yeah.
I like that. Now I'm all about peace. But I understand.
Yeah.
Understand defense.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So those are two. And then I gotta shout out my girl, man. She passed away last week, Cicely Tyson.
Oh, yes.
You know what?
Yes.
I ain't never seen a 96-year-old that was still fine. Do you hear me? That woman still looked like she was in her 50s and 60s, y'all.
Yeah.
So we thank God for everything that those people have contributed to us, and what they've shown us. Cicely Tyson shows us, when we just talking about the women, that you can live with class, dignity, and just and just kill the game. And she was so spry and young in the mind, even at 96.
She was.
So that's
a lot of wisdom.
Come on, man.
Come on now. We gotta. And Tyler Perry said something. He said, I just used to. I'm so thankful that I was able to sit at her feet and just gain like the wisdom. Like, if your grandparents are still alive and you can still go and soak up that wisdom and sit at their feet, you better do it, because that's a lot of wisdom that just oozes that you need. Like real talk. Did you watch the movie American Skin?
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
I cried like a baby.
That thing pissed me off.
I was mad. I was angry. I was sad. Like it was just so much, but it's necessary.
It's real.
It's necessary.
It was real.
It's necessary for right now.
That ending.
Woo.
That ending. I was like, really?
Yeah.
I
think that's all you could say was
because
really,
because it just reminds you, and I don't want to give up the movie, but it just reminds you of our mindset and their mindset.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And where we is like, man, I did all this and I could have done this and I still did this to do this.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Man.
So if y'all haven't seen that movie, go watch it. Yeah. It's definitely a movie for today's times.
Oh yeah.
And it will give you a thought process. It will bring some things to life. So yeah. Go watch that movie if you have. Radical Radio said, can Drew sing us a song for Black History Month? He's on fire, my producer.
Radical Radio is looking for a new producer.
Oh God. We will not be having Drew sing a Black History song. This is not the Dr. Martin Luther King. This is not the King holiday celebration at First Corinthians. We are not doing that on Radical Radio tonight. We gonna look. Anything else you got to add? I want you to tell the people where they can find you, and then we're gonna play Radical Ways. It's a new game we're gonna play.
This will be fun. I'm gonna mess up.
Yeah.
But listen, so they call me Big Drew. Find me on Instagram, Big Drew 777. You can find me on Facebook, Andrew Gadsden. That's my government name, and I don't have warrants anymore. Praise the Lord. You find me on Twitter. I think my Twitter like Aloysius Jones. I'm gonna get a new Twitter, y'all. I don't even use Twitter. That's my old stage name. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother person. But follow me, Yoked. Just Do It _Vote Coalition. Follow me. PPP. Shout out my girls. PPP. Reach out. They got the girls. I got the boys. They got the girls.
Yes.
So definitely, yeah. Reach out any one of those ways. Find me on social media. I'm out here.
If you need mentorship for your young boy, 8 to 12, this is your guy right here. Okay.
Right.
So Radical Ways. Just 3 questions. Real easy. It ain't nothing rough. Radical Ways. So when you hear the word radical, what comes to mind?
Oh, man. When I think about radical, I think about against the grain, against the norm. You know what I'm saying? Doing fresh and new things, and a new way, new mindset. Yeah, that's what I think of. Let's go. That's
good. That good stuff right there. What's the most radical characteristic about Big Drew?
Well, I'm rebellious in the mud, man. That's it. I'm definitely radical.
Out the box, radical.
I'm always thinking like, no, we got to do it. No, why can't we do it this way? You know, so I'm always trying to find new ways. So some people call it rebellious. You know, sometimes I find my own way of doing things, because I think we don't always have to do things the way we've been doing things.
That part, I love that. What's the most radical thing you have ever done?
You know what? I would say this year, probably when we did the march. That was cold, man. That was cold. That was a lot of work, and that was for the cause, baby, because we was tired. We still tired, but we were super tired. So when this year was probably my year of really getting involved in all of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I had never really got involved. I was always that guy that kind of sat to the side. But this year was the year that I really just kind of said, let me get out here. Let me get in the trenches. Let me do some marching. And y'all see how big I am, and I was marching like all summer. Y'all, listen, I started a whole diet called the protest diet. It was guaranteed you could lose 20 pounds in 15 marches.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, so.
And we was out here. I went to one, and I was like, I'm driving my car next time. This is crazy.
Coach, they said we gonna march. I ain't see you don't be thinking.
You don't be thinking about the way back.
But you gotta march back, y'all. And you don't be having it. Don't nobody be shouting when you're marching back. Ain't nobody honking the horn at you. They honking the horn, you wait. They don't care. No, your walk be so slow. Walk it back. Thank God, my brother Dante Brooks, stay fresh. He drove me home. He was like, man, he pulled up in the Jeep, like, bro, you need a ride? I'm like, no, I do. Yeah, I do. I looked at my feet like,
For sure, yes. We definitely got it in this summer protesting. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Radical Radio. My producer is really trying to hound my guest, so we're gonna have to get with her later. Um, she really has some issues tonight. I don't know. We might have a concert after the show end. We'll have to do a extra take or something. I don't know. But we want to thank y'all for joining us. Drew, thank you so much for coming back, bro. I really appreciate it. If y'all don't know, now y'all know. Big Drew is legendary here up in Lake County, so and around the world very, very soon. Y'all better know. As soon as they open up these gates, he's gonna be out here. Okay. So thank you guys for joining us. Next week, I will be on vacation. Okay. All right. I'll be on vacation, but we will be back next Monday to continue Black History Month. Radical Radio is hiring an intern, a social media influencer. It is a non-paid internship. So if you know of anybody that would be willing to apply, it is on Facebook, so they are able to apply. As you guys know, Radical Life Coaching, we are accepting bookings for 2021. So you guys can go to www.radicallife.com. We have the Breaking Chains collection. They are some fabulous, fabulous earrings on sale. Buy two, get one free. Y'all go check out Radical Life. Get with it. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.